Tyson Boschert, which is a sophomore, and he's a soccer player, right?
Yep.
So soccer player going to be able to do the kicking, and we kind of talked about Dylan Mattis as a soccer player.
Talked to his dad again the other day.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, you know what? Mike Szymanski does a tremendous job with the special team, with the kicking units, and I think Mike was, he was an Erie graduate, and he was a hard-nosed football player for himself back in the day. And so, talk about it last year, 0-10, right? Played a lot of
close games.
There
was some not so close games too, but I would say half of those games, those 10 losses, 5 of those, they were in
the first
majority
half.
of the game. Yep.
First half, and then the kind of just second half kind of fell apart a little bit because I think maybe the fatigue factor playing. And let's face it, last year I think we only had 3 or 4 seniors. One being Dane Anderson was the
you really had to ride that pony too.
You had to ride it, and the kids that are playing now, the kids that were seniors were juniors last year, right? And you had a handful. Some, I think there's 11 of them, and the kids that were in 10th grade last year
got a lot of playing time.
They did, and now they are the juniors. So it's kind of a junior-senior team. And then you're still going to throw a couple of sophomores and freshmen into the mix here. So that's a pretty well-balanced team this year.
Yep, and tonight is going to be a good gauge for where we stand, you know what I mean? And same thing with Ridgway here from what I talked to some other people.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the same boat. So I think we're dressing 33 tonight.
Yeah, they had some kids sign up.
4 more kids sign up, 3 or 4.
So that's a positive, right?
That is a positive. When you're only talking about, 27, 28, you can grab 4 kids. And that's a big deal.
And you know what that is attributed to? The coaching staff. I really do believe that you're out taught, and that's what I'm talking about, the Jason Barners, the Mike Londons, the Szymanskis, all the Jim Siriannis. These people have been embedded up here in Kane and we've been very blessed to have that kind of a caliber of people that, run the show up here.
I agree.
And we talked about, like I said, last year was a rough year, so these kids in the off season, and this, you see a lot of these kids, they really put a tremendous amount into the weightlifting program.
Oh, there was a good core group of kids that spent a good amount of time in the weight room on their own as a group, pushing each other, and it makes a huge difference when you can, you show up and you're fit and ready to go, especially strength-wise.
So that goes to show you that they were committed. They are committed, and you talked about them kind of like being pretty much of a tight-knit unit.
Pretty close-knit unit. They told me, the kids are tight, so.
And that's huge, right?
I think the family orientation thing, it just brings it together. You got a guy's back. That guy has your back, so you do the same for everybody else.
And so I'm just going to want to talk about some of these players, okay? So it's the Kane Sharba, right? He's a senior. Yes. Camden Ray, a senior.
Yep.
Isaiah Smith is only a junior, and these guys were the big, guys last year.
Yep.
Cameron Severance, a senior. William Costanzo, a senior. John Lorenzo, a senior. Okay, they were that was that group of that line people, and that's what you need. Yep. And there was some injuries and fatigue and stuff like that at the end of the last year. It just kind of dismantled that a little bit. And also Preston Darr was a freshman last year.
Played a lot.
He's a sophomore this year. Nathan McCormick is a sophomore this year, so he was playing as a freshman. Kyle Zook, okay, here we go. Kyle Zook was the quarterback, and he's going to change his position this year. He's going to be a big part of the offense as a wide receiver and also on the defensive side as a safety or cornerback. But he's going to be a big leader out there as a senior, and that's a big step that he was able to do that as a senior to leave that quarterback position and do, guess what, team.
Yep.
He's going to do this.
What we really need right now.
Yes, for the team. It wasn't about it was about team.
Exactly.
And then you're going to have a young quarterback, Eric Novosel, going to be a sophomore, and he was able to have some playing time last year because they mixed him in a little bit. But you know what? Looking for
best thing could have happened to him.
Get some playing time last year.
Yep, you get your feet wet, you get used to the speed of the field and the play, and that's a huge asset for him.
And so with that, okay, you're going to look at the couple of running backs. Evan Anderson's going to be a junior, right?
Yep.
And the big kid that Evan Anderson is a load. He played a great linebacker, a lot defensive end. He was in on a lot of tackles. I mean, and these kids got knocked around last year. They did.
Played a lot.
They played a lot, and they stuck in there. So Evan's going to be a big part of this offense, and the big kid is going to be the Sam West kid. And we've talked about him for now 4 years, right? 9th, 10th, 11th. And every year, some bad things have happened. And this is his year. Right, unfortunately.
He had some physical setbacks.
Yes. So, we talk about injuries, but, if this kid can stay healthy, the whole unit
He's
stay
another
healthy.
one spent a ton of time in there.
Well, yeah, lifting 390-pound bench pressing, 340 or 500 squat. These kids – the Smith kid is like benching 340. These kids are big, and I was down to see them the other night, and they are huge.
Right.
When I seen them face to face.
Yep.
And so, yeah, and we're gonna get. And so with that, that's what it's going to rely on a lot, and that's going to take some of the pressure off the young Novosel kid early in the season because I think we're going to be running the ball quite a bit behind the line. There's going to be a lot of physicality to this Kane Wolves football team this year.
Football.
Yeah. Hey, so with that, Bruce and Chris, we should probably take it back to Joe and hear from sponsors, and then we'll get ready for the national anthem in about 8 minutes away from game time.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
1017XCY's pregame show is sponsored by Atlantic Eastern Electrical, providing electrical contract services for business and industry. They're located in Kane and can be reached at 837-1222. Also supported by Kane Dental and Primary Care Center, part of the Keystone Rural Health Consortium. Located at 118 Fraley Street, they offer pediatric care from Dr. Rebecca Miller, as well as lab services